Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. We are, as always, dealing with technical difficulties, so we're going to be doing this right off my phone into a computer because that makes sense. No theme music today, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the YMCA. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here. We've got Brandy, Justin, and Nikori. I appreciate all of you for being here. Maybe we can put this in there. We'll try. So we got a couple of things before we kick off to some of our questions, and you're the one that's going to be able to tell me if we're all good and everything.
Yep, I'll
Okay.
watch it for you.
This is Teacher Appreciation Week. I used to be a teacher before I was crazy enough to decide to run for mayor, so I do have a proclamation that I'm going to briefly read for everyone. Whereas, through the dedicated efforts to ensure our children learn the knowledge and skills needed to be successful in college, careers, and life, Reynoldsburg teachers are vital in their community and building the future. And whereas, because of the increasing diversity of students, teachers must be constantly learning so they adapt to meet the ever-changing needs of young people in our schools. And whereas teachers play a crucial role in shaping our children into the people they will become, supporting them through their youth and teaching lessons that have an impact that will carry them throughout life. And whereas the teaching profession benefits from educators who are empowered to lead within and beyond the classroom, allowing them to best prepare young people to become contributing members of our community, thereby strengthening our democracy. And whereas teachers throughout Reynoldsburg have risen to the challenges presented by COVID-19 pandemic and provided unwavering support to their students in all of Reynoldsburg schools, whereas there are thousands of dedicated educators working in the Reynoldsburg and surrounding community and across the state, putting countless hours of extra effort in to help students, preparing them for further education, the workforce, and their civic duties. Now, therefore, I, Joe Bagney, Mayor of the City of Reynoldsburg, proclaim May 3rd through 7th as Teacher Appreciation Week. And to all those teachers out there, thank you, including my wife, who I hope is watching from Canal Winchester, but she's on her lunch, so she's allowed to. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start on talking about the YMCA. First of all, are you guys glad that you're actually, people are coming, there's programs going on, all that stuff? I mean, it had to be really dull when you were just kind of like sitting there doing nothing, I assume.
Yeah, we are really excited during this time, especially with summertime and us being able to extend our programs now. We've seen a lot of people come in, and it's good to see a lot of old faces that we haven't seen in a while. So it has been nice having the traffic again.
Well, I can imagine. Now, what did you guys all do? I know each of you probably have something different for this, but what did you do that kind of brought you joy through COVID while everything was kind of locked down or where everything's been kind of restricted? What's kind of helped you get through it all?
Well, for me, it's just kind of family. I have three boys, so it kind of keeps me pretty busy. One is brand new. Well, he's 1.5 now, but with the other two boys, it's just been, really trying to, play some sports, get outside, do everything that we can, go to the parks here in Reynoldsburg, and then so obviously spend some time with the baby at home. So that's been something to get us through it.
Yeah, I did the same. My family's actually from Georgia, so I took the time to go home and spend some time with my parents. During COVID, I'm up here by myself, so going home and being around family was kind of nice.
What part of Georgia, just out of curiosity? I used to live in Columbus, Georgia when I was younger.
Augusta, Georgia.
Okay, all right, so very familiar.
Yeah.
All right. Brandy, how about you? Oh, she's frozen.
Provided an opportunity of being in quarantine. And an opportunity to spend time in nature, do a lot of reflecting, writing, and reading.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Just anything that we can do
So
to kind of
it
go
was
through.
a very quiet time of reflection and solitude.
Okay. Now, we all know that, I've been in the Y since COVID and since you've reopened and things like that, but what are some of the things that you're doing to make the community members feel safe? Are we, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, here at the Reynoldsburg Community Center YMCA, we actually have socially distanced for classes. We have the availability and space to do so, where we have 6-foot boxes for our classes. With that, we also, in our cycling studio, we took out some bikes so that we could keep everybody safe throughout our classes. On our workout floor, we kept everything socially distant for 6 feet apart or more with all of our machines, all of our ellipticals, treadmills, open weights, benches. etc. Also, a big thing that we did is we went reservation based for swimming, for our group classes, and for basketball. So to see our capacity here.
Okay. You cut out a little bit there right after pools, but I assume that you said that all pools are going to be open and it's going to be awesome in May, right? That's what. No. Okay, we'll go back.
So the pools will be open. The pools will definitely be open this summer, but it will be kind of mirrored like last summer.
Okay.
There is going to be a reservation system. That way we can monitor the amount of people in the pool. And then the fun thing about this summer is that we'll finally get to have.
We'll finally get to have something. All right, so we'll have to. Yeah, I think we're getting some technical.
What she was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you froze right as you're about to say we're gonna have, and then you left us all in anticipate. Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying, the pools are going to be mirrored kind of like last summer, where there will be a reservation system in place. But I said the fun thing about this summer is that we finally get to have our water slide and our splash pad area open. So that will be a little bit more added fun to the summer pool sessions.
Yeah, and that's something that everybody didn't want to miss out on right there. So I'm glad we were able to connect with that. Well, that's good. What about any other classes like I know a lot of people have been asking are we going to be able to offer other exercise classes, other things like that would be able to help out. I didn't know if there was anything else that's coming up or if any hours adjustments or anything like that as we kind of move forward.
Touch on the hours, and then I'll let Justin go over the different programs that we have coming into play. But our hours are extending. That midday break that we have right now, we are actually doing away with that. So we'll be open continuously from open to close.
Okay.
And then our Saturday hours, we're going to extend those to 4 o'clock. Right now we close at 12. So come the end of the month, the hours will extend from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. And our hopes are to bring back Sunday hours come June.
All right.
So hopefully middle of June we'll be back to running normal business hours.
That's awesome. I'm hopeful for that. Now, I know we have a couple of questions that were submitted by one of our big-time fans. Doylene Williams asked a couple of them. The YMCA requires a membership fee, to join in. So what makes this a community center for the community? She's basically looking like, what is it that the YMCA brings to the city of Reynoldsburg?
Yeah, Mayor, I think there's a couple things that the YMCA brings to the community through our partnership with the city of Reynoldsburg. One is that I think this is a unique collaboration where the city has invested in the facility and the structure and then partnered with the YMCA for us to provide the expertise, the staffing, the oversight of the facility, which is it relieves a burden off of the city in terms of having to staff up and have the expertise to operate a community center, which is pretty expensive. The YMCA is able to take advantage of economies of scale, if you will, since we're doing this in 13 different communities. Of course, there is a cost associated so that we can pay for the staff, the training, the services that take place. But I think, one of the things that we bring as part of that value for that membership and the program fees that we charge is that we're able to provide those services in inclusive, welcoming, values-based way. Like, we're able to be responsive to the needs of the community and to provide classes, facilities, and I'm sure Nokori and Justin could talk specifically about some of the unique things we're doing in Reynoldsburg that are responsive to the community. And most importantly, I'll say at the Y, we like to consider ourselves the original social enterprise. The money that we charge, the services that we provide also help us be able to not turn anyone away. So if anyone is having trouble and isn't able to pay the membership price, we have programs to work with people on sliding scale fees.
Okay. Great answers. Thank you for that. The next one talks about, compared to some of these other fitness centers that are out there, what is it about the YMCA that makes it competitive with some of those other places? We won't name them because we don't want to. But
Of course. And I think, a lot of that was included in my last answer, I'd say that, the YMCA is different than, let's say, a big box fitness facility or a boutique fitness facility, in that we truly are more than a place to come work out and come swim. We are an inclusive, welcoming community center where entire families are welcome to come and strengthen their spirit, mind, and body in the way that's best for them. We provide a different environment, a different culture, and a different sense of, I'd say, values-based inclusivity. It's what makes us different. And also, the YMCA has two other major business lines. We operate our community centers, but we're also a provider of housing in Central Ohio, and childcare and youth development.
Okay. And you have a better theme song. Oops, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You knew I couldn't go the entire show without referencing it. There's just no way. I'm sorry. The next question is kind of more for me as far as how do the Reynoldsburg taxpayers contributed to paying off the cost of the building of the Y? That really comes from the voter support of issue 11, which seems like it was, a decade ago, but it really wasn't that long ago, that helped provide for the tax rate to help contribute to make sure we pay this particular building off, which is absolutely beautiful. Now, I know COVID kind of put a kink in a lot of systems, but one of those things, one of the questions out there is what kind of community outreach activities do you have planned in a world, let's say, with fewer or no COVID restrictions? I know that it's two different worlds. And without COVID, you probably have an easier answer of it. With COVID, it kind of makes things a little wonky.
Well, I can touch on some of the programming and stuff that we're doing. We did just recently have a blood drive for the community. We also have the first ever e-gaming center, which is dedicated to 10 to 18-year-olds. It's a great space for the kids to, come in, get off the street, and to really learn about social responsibility through gaming. It's something that we're really proud of, and is a beautiful space for people to come in the community and use. Something that I'm really proud of that we have coming soon is our teen camp. It's only one of three in our association, and it's actually going to be the first of its kind. It's 6 weeks starting June 21st through July 30th. It's 6 weeks for 12 to 17-year-olds, and it's really going to be week specific to kids in the community to come in to learn all about sports, to learn all about the why, the social responsibility, the healthy living, and it's something that I'm really proud of to kind of put into place and to show Reynoldsburg what we have.
That's awesome. Thank you. The last one, so let's say that, questions talking about an overview of the Y, like how many number of employees do you have typically? And if people want to join, what would you suggest would the best way? I know that before COVID, we did tours. People came in and said, hey, can I take a look at it? Is that still an option? Tell us a little bit about if somebody's watching right now and say, hey, you know what? You sold me. I want to come in. I want to be a member. What do we do next?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, we are still doing tours. I know there's still a lot of people in the community that haven't been able to see the facility, so I invite you to drop by, and we would love to show you around and show you what we have to offer. As far as memberships, we're doing very well with memberships. We have about 1,500 family units, with pricing ranging from $38 to $68, depending on the number of people on the membership. But as Brandy stated earlier, we do have scholarship programs, so that if there are members that are having financial difficulties paying for their Y memberships, we have procedures in place that can offer them a lower price. And right now, we are going full throttle. We are hiring for a lot of positions at the Y. We are open our Child Watch in June, so Child Watch is coming back. We are hiring for that. We have lifeguards we're hiring for the front desk, fitness attendants, personal trainers, group instructors. All this information can be found on the YMCA website. And then as far as employees, right now we have about 50 employees. That's between the front desk, our directors, and the lifeguards. But like I said, we are looking to grow. Our membership is going up every day, so we just want to make sure we're in a place that we can provide that great service to the community.
Okay, well,
I've definitely seen, since the vaccines have been out, I've seen an outpouring of people coming in feeling safe to come into the space again. So our tours are up, our memberships are up, and with that, comes the more programming, the more employees, the more members, and the more stuff that we can do for the community.
Well, I enjoy looking out the window and seeing the parking lot full, a little bit. And I know there's a number of people here. I think Chris Shook, our city attorney, will be thrilled that the hours are going to expand a little bit, because I know he has trouble.
Yeah, he's a regular.
Yeah, he's in there trying to get his swim time in and other things like that. So, do we have any questions from the community?
This one?
All right, nothing. You guys are off the hook for that one. But I do have one question for you. Have you talked to Gary? How's he feeling? And can we make fun of him in any way, shape, or form while he's not available to be there to defend himself? Because I'm all for that.
Well, with one of our fundraisers that we're doing as a staff, it's going to be throw Gary into the pool. So if we raise enough money, I get the pleasure, since I'm probably the only big enough person, to pick him up and throw him into the pool. So we're definitely excited about that. But I heard that he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. So he'll be back later on this week. We can't wait to have him back.
Yeah, sure you can. It's funny. I know we had scheduled this for a while ago, and he reached out to me that it was knee surgery, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he had that. Well, let me know about that fundraiser. I think I may have to make a contribution to that. So what we're going to do, you guys are more than welcome to stay on, but if you have other things that you need to do, you can go ahead and go. But there's a lot of community things that I still have to go through. But I really appreciate all of you coming out here today. For those of you that want to join the YMCA, again, call, schedule a tour, go ahead and take a look. It's awesome. I wish I could get there a little bit more often than I do. Not everybody is the warrior that Chris Shook is, but we'll get there at some point in time. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And again, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Brandy.
All right, for the rest of you, we're going to go ahead and figure out how to do all of this wacky stuff with technology. Hi, it's almost like we did this on purpose. So we got a couple of things that I'm going to start off with. First off, let's talk a little bit about code enforcement. If you've been around the area for the last little bit, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of things. This is on the corner of Main Street and by Wagner Road. You can see some of the asphalt parking lot that obviously needs some repair by Donato's and things like that. And then what you can see is, eventually, there you go. It has actually been all repaved. It looks so much better. Community members can appreciate this. Our code enforcers, as always, do an awesome job getting all of this stuff sealed up and repaired and fixed to the point that it needs to be. I have another business a little bit further down the road on Main Street. You can kind of see some of the, needs a little fresh coat of paint and some other things right there. And so when they get those things taken care of, it may not seem like a lot, but it definitely improves the overall look of the entire community when we do things like that. And then again, now that the asphalt factories are back up and running, we do have, that coming out there. This is over by the former Rev Cafe, the new restaurant that we've got out there. So take a look at those restaurants as well. So code enforcement is out all the time. They are always working. And again, keep an eye out for them. They're out there. Appreciate all their help and support. So we've got a couple of good things coming up. We've got our community cleanup information. We're going to be doing a litter contest June 5th through the 12th. We're going to basically ask residents to take pictures and submit them of them picking up litter, when they're done with the bags of litter and things like that, to show us. We'll post them on our Facebook page and you'll be entered. We've got a lot of people that have contributed prizes. We've got Wendy's, Nothing But Cake, Ohio Select, Raider Nutrition, Starstruck, and Cane's for those that are there. Now, that doesn't mean you have to fill 30 bags worth of litter. It just means you do your part, do a little bit, and then show it up there. You're not going to get more of a chance based on how much litter you have. But if you do get 30 bags, that'd be awesome. We'd like to see that one too. If you need trash pickers or garbage bags, feel free to reach out to us here at City Hall for that one. Our Shred It Day, which is always popular, is going to be October 16th. I know that's a far way off, but it'll be October 16th, mostly because we couldn't get a shredder to come out here due to COVID. So we do have that on the 16th. We'll do that in the morning, and we also have hazardous material removal as well. So we'll have those. Those are kind of the two big things that are coming up. Did get an email actually last week about some of the kind of things going on with our police department and just criminal activity and crime in the center. Most of you may be aware that there was a shooting off Bryce Road, not too far from where the Popeyes was. Social media was very quick to jump on a lot of assumptions. It's the area, the crime, Reynoldsburg's going down, things of that nature. And unfortunately, this was not a this was a deliberate choice. The early indications are that this person, a young person, took their own life. And one thing that I saw for us that I do want to kind of make sure that we all understand is, regardless of whether the person was murdered or whether it was indeed suicide, somebody's family is going to miss them. And it's a sad, tragic occurrence no matter what. And when we're on social media and we say certain things, let's try and keep that in mind, that there are tragic circumstances that people are crying over on that. And while I understand that people get frustrated with the crime in the area or the perceptions of what our Reynoldsburg is all about, we do kind of have to keep that in mind. The family lives here, people know him, friends know him, and that's just something that we need to do a little bit better on. So I hope that we all continue to try and be as respectful as possible with that. One of the other things that came up is council. At the last meeting we had, the chief of police and the deputy chief actually provide information on our quarterly review for what, where are we at now as far as criminal activity compared to, let's say, last year. Overall, it's relatively consistent, but there are a couple of things that I do want to highlight. Burglaries are down, drug offenses are down, and shoplifting and trespassing are down in comparison to the first quarter of last year. Now, keep in mind, last year COVID hadn't really hit until a little bit later. But some things that we have seen an increase in include domestic violence. This is a very serious issue because obviously people are kind of locked in an area where they are unable to move from. They're kind of in a position where domestic violence were to occur, it's going to be harder for them to find an avenue to kind of find relief for it. So domestic violence has increased at this point in time. One of the things that we are hoping for is with our new social worker as well as RPD that we can provide services to those who are victims of domestic violence to provide them an opportunity to get out. I've worked with State Representative Erica Crawley on some potential funding to provide shelter and other accommodations for victims of domestic violence. It is a very important thing that we need to keep that in mind, especially when it's, with everything that had been going on with COVID. Also, assaults are up. We all see this all the time throughout our community, that assaults, violence, people resorting to things other than, basically words and things of that nature. It's tense out there. I get it. There's a lot of things that concern everybody, whether it's, how quickly can we open? Is it opening too soon? Wear a mask, not wear a mask, those types of things. So assaults are up, and then drunkenness is also up. We've had a number of issues of public drunkenness that have come about. Couple of other good things that are there to start off is actually, believe it or not, theft is down in the Bryce Road corridor, which is good. And then our youth offenses are down. I know that the City of Columbus, Mayor Ginther has put a task force together to address issues with youth crime and youth violence in the city. I was lucky enough to be invited to be part of that task force and have some consultations with the group. And so I wanted to make sure that not only is Columbus doing some of those things that we here in Reynoldsburg are also, and it was good to see that youth crime is actually down significantly in comparison to last year. It's a quarterly shot, basically January, February, March. So we will continue to review these with council and everyone else all the time to make sure to improve some of our opportunities for diversion and provide opportunities like the YMCA kind of talked about before, about opportunities for kids to partake in other activities. One other thing that I have to give kudos for to the Reynoldsburg Police Department is Project 614. This was a human trafficking sting that was set up by RPD and the Franklin County Human Trafficking Task Force that netted an unfortunately large number of solicitations, prostitutes, and johns recently in local areas around Reynoldsburg, and so we're going to continue to lead the fight in human trafficking. We are also going to, if you paid attention to some of the council meetings that have gone on recently, you have the opportunity to review some legislation that will actually improve penalties for those that try to solicit a prostitute or someone who is a victim of human trafficking. So we're actually taking the fight to the demand side of everything, while at the same time providing options for those that are victims of human trafficking to find a way to break out of that. So again, this is just a small piece of a much larger puzzle, and I appreciate RPD's efforts in this to be part of this and try and drive this out of our community and out of Central Ohio in general. The document that we see at council is this, and you can't see it right now, and even if I brought it up to you, it's still too blurry to read that close. But if you go to the City of Reynoldsburg webpage, you can go to the council meeting from the last meeting. That document will be in there so you can review and get some more specific information about what's going on. Another big topic that has come up recently is Ymca, and we're in that stage right now where we're waiting to see, well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Will our trash be picked up or not? Keep in mind that a couple of things. One, we are part of a consortium of local communities, Dublin, Westerville, and others, that all use Ymca for waste removal, yard waste, trash, and everything else like that. And every city that's a part of this is dealing with the same issues. Ymca is running into issues with staffing. Ymca is running issues into equipment maintenance and things of that nature. So that's those are two of the primary reasons why things have been backed up. And then you throw COVID on top of that, regular absences and things of that nature. It definitely has impacted things. We are in negotiations, or will be getting negotiations for our next trash provider this year. Our contract with Ymca runs out. So we are taking steps to make sure that if we do indeed go with Ymca again, that there's more stringent contract provisions to deal with delays like this one, or if there's an opportunity to go to a different provider, that may be an option as well. We are somewhat limited because, believe it or not, there's not a lot of businesses out there that specifically deal with trash removal, but it is things that we are trying to work with. Maybe there's other options that we can explore, similar to our recycling bins that are very large, that can hold things that can be picked up by a truck of one person. Maybe that's something that we have to look through to go with our trash as well. But always want to make sure that you try and recycle as much as you can, because that will help with the waste removal all the way throughout. Now, I'm sure between those two things, do we have any questions about either of those two topics before I go on?
Not this time.
All right, well, we'll move on then. As you know, there's been some construction on Main Street, and it's going to be more. As soon as we have an idea of when the construction will start on the Franklin County side, we will let you know. We do know that most of the construction is occurring on the Licking County side, really from all the way from the border of Licking County on our side of town of Reynoldsburg all the way past Kirkersville and beyond. So we are working with them to make sure that lanes are identified properly, the barrels are out in a certain way so we can still have traffic moving through without too many issues. But again, the traffic is going to continue. The construction that's very specific to Main Street between Lancaster and Jackson, part of our Main Street Phase 1 project, is continuing. Columbia Gas has been out recently working on the utilities underground, so if you've had delays on Lancaster to Wagner or Lancaster to Main Street, that's what you're going to see is mostly Columbia Gas working right now. They're going to be in there for the next couple of weeks working on a few things. The main part of the project will begin probably late June, early July, again from that Lancaster to Jackson. So there's going to be a lot of issues with that as well. Residential roads, we're just waiting to have our pre-conference meeting with the people that are going to be coming in and fixing our roads. So as soon as we have that information, you'll start seeing people kind of coming out and marking up certain territory with the curbs that need to be replaced, sidewalk repair issues the letters are going to be mailed out in the not too distant future as well. Once we have a better idea of when the construction is going to start out there. But I would assume probably you're looking within the next couple of weeks, maybe just after Memorial Day weekend, one of those two things. Couple of other things going on. This is Light Ohio Blue Week starting next week, May 9th through the 16th, in support of police officers in the state of Ohio. There is going to be a group from the Lions Club and RPD, and depending on if my son has track on Friday night, I'll be there as well on Friday, distributing some blue light bulbs from 6 to 8 p.m., as well as Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So keep an eye out for those if you would like to pick one of those up to put on your porch to show support for the police officers. I'm really looking forward to this one. I get to go for a walk at Civic Park with Councilwoman Shawnette Strickland on the 22nd of May from 1 to 3, after I've hopefully taken a shower from putting plants in at Plant Reynoldsburg Day, which we do need volunteers for. If you want to join in, we'll have more information on that as well. But we're going to take a walk around Civic Park and talk about some of the improvements that community members have suggested, maybe address some of the concerns that some community members have, but basically kind of walk around and actually show what certain things will go where. Civic Park is one of our more underutilized parks that are out there, so if we do make improvements to it, we want to make sure the community is involved. We've talked a number of different things that are out there, dog parks, splash pad, additional entry and exit from Rose Hill that will probably be the last thing that we'll deal with, but as well as maybe frisbee golf and some other things in there, but while still maintaining the concerns about the prairies and things of that nature that are out there. But we're still in the information gathering phase to make sure that we understand what the community wants. After that, we'll actually go to kind of a pre-engineering stage. Obviously, water flow in that area leading into some of our neighborhoods is a very big concern. not only with just what's already there, but any potential development that may impact that as well. So we'll be doing our due diligence to make sure that we're getting the best flow out there to kind of reduce any potential flooding hazards that might get into some of our neighborhoods. But I hope you can make it out to this. It will be somewhat socially distanced. We'll have masks on, but between Councilwoman Strickland and I'm pretty sure we're both loud enough that everyone will hear us. Right, Councilwoman Strickland? Okay, good. So we've got that going on. A couple of other things for those of you out there. The Community Association is taking applications or nominations for the Parade Grand Marshal for the 4th of July Parade. The parade will be on July 3rd at 10 a.m., but if you're interested in submitting a nomination for the Grand Marshal, feel free and do so. You can send it out, should be on the website on the Community Association page, or you can check on our pages as well. For that information. Looking forward to that. The fireworks on July 2nd, the parade on July 3rd, and a little bit of rest on July 4th. We've got a couple of city events coming up as well on June 5th. While our litter challenge is going on, we're going to have the Artist and Makers Market on June 5th from 11 to 6. You may have seen the event posted earlier today on that one, so it's going to be a great opportunity to kind of come out and help local businesses and local vendors see some of their cool things that they've got out there. Music in the Cul-De-Sac is going to be starting in June 3rd, which is going to be here before we know it. So similar to what happened last year, we're going to have a great group of artists out there performing. We have concerts on the lawn starting in June as well at the Livingston House. We also have 2 new events this year that we're going to really be talking about. It's not a lot of details for the first one, but we do have a Reynoldsburg recognition of Pride Month, June 12th at JFK Park. So stay tuned for some of that information to recognize Pride Month here at Reynoldsburg. And then we also have the Juneteenth celebration, June 19th at Huber Park, hours from 12 to 3, but it's going to be a little bit more expanded than that. We're going to have, that's where the major programming is, but you're going to have a 5K earlier in the day, and we are partnering with the African American Wellness Association for screenings, kind of biometric screenings to make sure that we're all doing as best a job as we can to stay healthy. And then there are going to be healthy food trucks afterwards. I promise, healthy food truck. That's what I'm going with. Healthy food trucks afterwards, again at Huber Park on June 19th. We also have a couple of other things. Like I said, the Parks and Rec Plant Reynoldsburg Day is May 22nd. We'll begin that earlier in the morning, 9 till whenever we're done. We've had really good turnout the last couple of years with volunteers, especially political candidates that are out there digging and putting plants in. It's always good to have them out there. The more people that are out there, the better, so that way we can, again, beautify our community. Tomato Festival meetings are the first Tuesday of every month. We had our last one yesterday, so thanks to Jennifer Clemens, who's putting together an awesome itinerary of events and performances for the Tomato Festival. On May 15th at Reynoldsburg United Methodist Church from 10 to 2, we're going to have the National Missing Children's Day event, which will include community information, some fingerprinting for kids, as well as a visit from the K-9 units and some fire safety as well. We have a couple of golf outings that I've been informed of. The Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce golf outing is going to be May 14th at Westchester Golf Club for $85 per person. It's a 4-person scramble, not just because I'm hitting the ball in areas no one wants to be at, but it's a 4-person scramble for that. We also have the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation Mulligan Golf Tournament. That's more my speed because we need to have multiple shots because I'm not good. June 6th through the Friday, June 11th, it'll be $90 per golfer, or you can actually just make your donations to the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. Those proceeds are going to go to students who might not necessarily be able to afford going to, let's say, the Washington, D.C. trip in the 8th grade year. This would help kind of offset some of those costs, as well as other scholarship opportunities that presented to our students. So those are a lot of good golf outings that are coming up. So if there's anything else out there, let me know. We do have our Blessing Box locations that are, again, we added another one recently, so check those out and make sure that if you have an opportunity to kind of stock those up of non-perishable items, we would appreciate it. Water update, check those sump pumps. Apparently, April showers have turned into May showers, and there's a lot of rain out there, so make sure your sump pumps are working properly, the flow's going out to the city and things like that. We don't really have any development update for right now. Probably have something to talk about next week. We'll just have to see if everything gets turned in time. But just kind of give you an idea of the development that's on there. For those of you that are curious, we're still aiming for sometime in between the Tomato Festival and Labor Day weekend for the Kmart building to be demolished. As soon as we know for sure, I'll let you know. I'm sure we'll attract a pretty good crowd for that. Any questions so far?
No.
All right, I hope we're still broadcasting. Usually there's a lot more questions, but we'll go with that. As always, you can reach out to me at City Hall, come in and talk about any particular topics you want, arrange a Zoom. Always happy to talk with community members. Next week, we are going to have our special guest, Parks and Recreation Director, Donna Bauman, who has conned into coming onto the show for a second time. So we're looking forward to having her talk about our baseball and softball seasons that are underway. And what may be potentially coming in the future to our parks and how we're going to work things. Also trying to talk her into coming to our walk in the park as well. She might be interested in what goes on at Civic. With that, that is the end of the show for the day. Thank you for everything and patience with our technological issues. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Stay safe, be respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. It's not that hard of a job. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.